A straightforward technique to graph any kind of equation is to make a table of input and output values. Our input value is always x, our output value is y, or if we're in function notation, f of x. And then the equation that relates the input x to the output y, or f of x. So if I have an absolute value equation in which y equals the absolute value of x plus 4, I make a table of given x values, and I can just pick these at random, and then I solve for y given each x value. In the first equation, if y equals the absolute value of x, I'm going to leave a blank space for the x, plus 4. Now I'm going to fill in that blank space with my new value of x, which is negative 4. The absolute value of negative 4 is positive 4, so I have 4 plus 4, which equals 8. This means that I have a point where x is negative 4 and y is 8. I keep going. If y equals the absolute value of x plus 4, now x is negative 3. The absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3, and I add 4 to it, so I get out 7. So if I input negative 3, I output 7. Keep going. Y equals the absolute value of x plus 4. X is now 0. So I have 0 plus 4 equals 4. If I input 0, I output 4. Y equals the absolute value of x plus 4. X is now 3. So I have the absolute value of 3 is still 3. Remember, it's just always positive. Plus 4 equals 7. So if I input 3, I output 7. And finally, y equals the absolute value of x plus 4. Now x is positive 4. So this gives me, if I input positive 4, the absolute value of 4 is 4. The equation tells me to add another 4. So I output 8. So finally, if I input 4, I output 8. Now I have a whole bunch of ordered pairs. Remember, it's always x comma y. So if I input negative 4, I go negative 4 on my x-axis and up to 8. So over negative 4, up to positive 8, place my point. I'm going to label it negative 4 comma 8. Input negative 3, output 7. So I go over to negative 3, I go up to positive 7 on the y-axis, and place my dot. Input 0, output 4. So I input 0 on the x-axis, I go up 4 on the y-axis, plot my point. Input 3, output 7. So I go over to 3, I count up to 7 on my y, in the y direction, place a point. Input 4, count over 4 on the x-axis, output 8, count up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places. Now I notice that if I connect these dots, I'm going to get a V shape. That's good because I know that absolute value equations always have a V shape. If we notice, this was x, absolute value of x plus 4, and this is the whole graph. The parent function of absolute value is at the vertex is at 0. Now the vertex has moved up 4. So you can see the kind of shift. If you add 4 to an equation, the whole thing shifts up 4 spaces.